what is ChatGPT? Well, I found a video for us to be able to go through and review it, so that you guys can better understand exactly what it is. And I'll play that, and then I'm gonna break it down for you of why it makes me fearful, but I can't avoid using it, even to the point to where one of my instructions to both one of my assistants and to Rita is I want them to learn every single thing. A part of their job is to learn about and study and figure out how it is that we can utilize it within our businesses, every single aspect of what ChatGPT is. I have instructed my wife and my team to learn every single thing that they can and become immersed and an expert in ChatGPT. So I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit of this video, and we're gonna get it popping. I'm reading super chats throughout the show. Thank you guys. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
ChatGPT is one of the most trending topics right now. It's been less than a week since its release, and people's minds are being blown with what it can do. It's also breaking records, with over 1 million users signed up in just 5 days, faster than Netflix, Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram. No longer will you be Googling the answers to problems.
Over 1 million users signed up within 5 days, faster than every single social media site that there is available. Over 1 million users, 1 million within 5 days. That's insane.
GPT gives breakdowns of them in fine detail, with explanations exactly how it works. This will make people question just how relevant Google will be in the coming future. Do you want to know the limitations of TypeScript? ChatGPT has you covered. But what exactly is ChatGPT? What makes it so powerful? These are things I wanted to find out. It's built by the same people that are behind OpenAI, which are now shaping some really interesting technologies. They've been building powerful engines like Codex, which is the engine behind GitHub Copilot, something that many of us are already using in our day-to-day coding on VS Code. And if you're looking closely, you might see the beginnings of ChatGPT, where people put in prompts and they get outputs from an AI-generated system. Another example was DALL-E 2, which was an image generator based on prompts you enter. Here you get different types of visualizations of a spaceman on a horse, and lots of other examples, even extending out classical artwork. ChatGPT is therefore a way of prompting an AI to solve or answer a question or a prompt in a human-like manner, very different from anything else we've seen before. And this can sound scary, very scary, especially to organizations like Stack Overflow, which pride themselves on solving problems with human-related answers. They've actually gone as far as banning ChatGPT out from their systems. This is because they want to build a level of trust on there. And if people simply copy-paste answers from GPT without any references, that might break that level of trust. This is all quite interesting, but let me have a look at ChatGPT under the hood by actually using.
So, long story short, okay? This is realer than anything that you've ever seen, right? And that basically it allows for you to basically type out prompts that allows for things to be able to be generated from a human-like perspective. So, for example, right? My daughter and I'm sitting there talking to her last night, and it's funny because I read an article about how most professors are now embracing ChatGPT from their students, and they're trying to adjust, and that they're encouraging them and they're teaching them how to use it effectively versus trying to ban it from whatever it is that they got going on inside of the schools, because they already know that once the cat is out of the bag, that the technology is already going to be useful. So I was talking to my daughter last night, and we sitting at the counter, and I said, you know, I want you also, because I'm instructed her too, to become an expert in ChatGPT, and to spend at least 2 hours of her day learning about it and putting in the work, right? Rita, can you come here for a minute? And so I said, Leslie, what are some of the ways in which you would use ChatGPT in order to become more effective in your life? She says, oh, we already using it to write papers. Can you scratch my back real quick? This is one of the beauties of having a wife. Down, to the left, up. Oh my God. I'm about to end this stream. To the right, to the left, down. All right, thank you. about to take a nap out in this bed. But I said, I was telling my daughter, I said, how is one of the ways in which children is using ChatGPT in a class? Oh, she said they're using it to write papers, right? And so I said, well, I was reading about that. And one of the things that I'm learning is that they're no longer able to use the same tools that they use in order to determine whether or not the paper is plagiarized, whether or not they really wrote the paper, and so on and so forth. And she said, yeah. And so I'm not preventing my daughter or the people around me from using this technology. I have to go and push them because the genie is out of the bottle. Now, one of the things is we have to push our legislative branches. I know y'all don't care. I know y'all think that it's all about police brutality and systematic racism and all of this other dumb shit that's not actually relevant in our lives. But I'm telling you, if y'all don't get to y'all legislative branches and force them in order to really, really start to take care of things, you're going to see some out of control shit up out here.
Using it and seeing just how useful it will become as part of our day-to-day lives in development as well as any industry. In case you didn't know, ChatGPT is entirely free. If you want to try it out yourself, simply go to OpenAI, log in with a brand new account, and then select the ChatGPT interface.
Thank you guys for the super chats. I'm going to be reading them throughout the show.
Quite fond of the design. It's nice and simple, giving you the examples as well as some capabilities and limitations of ChatGPT. Some of these capabilities are quite powerful, things like remembering what a user said in a conversation and providing follow-up corrections as well. The first thing I wanted to do is to see if it could tell me what Python or TypeScript is. And it gave me a pretty sound answer, saying that TypeScript is a programming language that's a superset of JavaScript. Since I haven't actually used TypeScript before, I decided to ask it if it could give me a hello world function. Not only did it write the function in such a manner that I could literally copy paste it out, but it also explained the function to me. And this is really just the beginning. And here...
That's fucking insane. That's insane, honestly. I've refused to use it up to this point, but I know I'm going to have to go ahead and embrace it. But to be able to copy and paste it, and the amount of money and the revenue that's going to come from this, and the amount of jobs that's going to be lost as a result of it is insane. AI Senpai says, ChatGPT, it's already outdated. I heard ChatGPT 4 or ChatGPT 3 is already outdated. I heard ChatGPT 4 is already on the way.
Here is where things get interesting. I've been working on a small application and I was getting an error that I couldn't figure out. I decided to copy paste this error into ChatGPT to see what it would say. Here's some JavaScript in VS Code for a upload for a video app I'm working. This code is failing when I try to run it in Node.js. I copy pasted this straight into ChatGPT asking if it could fix the following code for me. What I received back was my code fixed. And not only that, ChatGPT went through and gave me the code to copy paste and even explained to me exactly what was wrong, why it was wrong, and how it was fixed. In this
do you know how difficult it is? Or how much studying and how much time I've spent on Stack Overflow and how many YouTube videos I've had to watch in order to solve for a simple problem that I've had within my code as I was beginning my journey as a software engineer? Everybody should be worried, including Google. And Google has recently released their own version of ChatGPT in order to combat it. But every single person in the world should be worried. Now, on the surface, this seems like a great thing because it allows for you to be able to skip steps. I know that a lot of us like to skip steps, so on and so forth. But in reality, this is a very, very, very dangerous piece of software in which we can't put the genie back in the bottle. So you're going to utilize technology in order to continue to advance in whatever it is that we're doing. But it sets the playing field equal. And I'm going to tell you what I really think, right? I believe that what this does is it makes the in-person human interactions 10 times more valuable. I'm going to tell you in a minute. Let me play a little bit more of this video.
Example, I had written my return function incorrectly, basically making a bit of a typo. And here it's gone through and fixed that return, making sure that it's spelled correctly. It's also being a bit cheeky here, adding in a comment that it fixed the typo right here on the line where it says return. If I didn't know any better, this could have come from a real human. Even, for example, a mentor or a supervisor that could be checking and reviewing your code. And this makes me question exactly what things might look like in the future of development, because this could really be like a personal assistant of a sort. But ChatGPT has a lot of relevance, even outside of programming, since it's practical to pretty much anything. Here, I wanted to create a list of food I can eat that don't include carbs because I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight. It gave me 3 dishes that I can have: grilled chicken, as well as shrimp, as well as some omelets. Taking this one step further, I asked if it could create a shopping list for me based on those meals. And yes, it did that very easily. Not only that, it indented them and made them nice and readable. I think that ChatGPT is here to stay. I think
That's insane. That is absolutely insane. That you can basically tell it to do anything and it will make sure that anything gets done. You know what we can use this for? I think that I need to do a whole webinar for the Patreon members. Let me tell you what I think about this, y'all. Let me tell you what I think about ChatGPT real quick, right? I think that like anything, it's a double-edged sword, right? In the same way that you can use it to cut for good is that it's going to create a domino effect for everything that comes along with it bad. It's just like anything. It's like the internet. It's like people. It's like real life. The thing that it's supposed to be meant for is also the thing that people are right now working to try to figure out how it is that they can utilize it for bad, right? I think it's going to replace a lot of jobs. But let me also tell you what it's going to do. I also believe that this is an opportunity for people, right? And that in-person, real-life interactions are going to become 10 times, even 100 times more valuable because it's going to be the thing that you cannot replace, you cannot understand, you truly don't understand the value that comes along with being a real person in real life. And so if you can learn how to utilize this from a business perspective or in order to make your life easier or in order to be able to leverage it to be more successful when it comes to your day-to-day functions and making your jobs and the people that you have around you much more powerful in the things that they do, you can operate more lean. It equals the playing field and that everybody becomes a superstar player on your team and so they can have cross functionality and to be able to do each other's jobs. You can utilize it in a very successful way, right? But the other side of it is that it's going to also reduce in the same way that social media has today, in my opinion, is going to reduce, what's the best way for me to put this? Relationships, right? Let's say relationships, for example. I think that people crave real in life, in-person interactions because they're so immersed in what happens on the internet and social media. So much so to where men and women are only used to and have become immersed in the idea that the only way that they can interact with people is through Instagram or DMs or private messages and things like that. And so for the people that actually know how to talk to people, that know how to build a network, that knows how to interact with people in real life, that knows how to have a conversation, that has interpersonal skills, that has game, all of that other type of stuff, you're going to become more valuable than you've ever had before. And so if you can learn to utilize both real life interpersonal growth and skills, and then combine that with the information age and the information and technology in which that's going to allow for you to be a lot more successful. If you can figure out how to learn much more quicker, if you can utilize this information in order to become a better developer, if you can have it as a personal assistant, if you learn how to use it and have it be, have it help you to be a lot more productive, but also manage and utilize your understanding and your interpersonal skills to become much more successful, you will be a rock star. You will be a rock star. It is never going to be a better opportunity for you to really leverage becoming a great in-person person, but then at the same time, utilizing the technology to be more successful. But let's be clear, and I believe this to my core. I believe that this is going to be the death of us. This is Ex Machina. This is Terminator. This is iRobot. And this is only the beginning of it. This is Skynet. This is Skynet. There's already it's called Doom or Chaos GBT, in which its entire goal, and somebody has already put it out there for the general public, and it has its own Twitter handle. Chaos GBT, I believe that's what the name of it is, has already said and talked about the idea of how humans are destructive and they're going to eventually need to be destroyed. I'm just glad that I got to live the majority of my life being able to see both the good and the bad of the beginnings of good information and technology versus what it is that we going into now. It's crazy.